Western is not the only school affected by the budget impasse. I myself traveled to Eastern Illinois University and University of Illinois to hear how the budget is controlling university decisions.
Eastern Illinois University has 7,640 students, which is 4,500 less than in 2006. EIU is expecting even less students to enroll without a budget in the future. I spoke to Katie Witt, who is the executive vice president of the student body, and she's worried she might see the doors closing on her university.
And then as a student trustee, I'm seeing how the university is being affected, and it's kind of scary because every single meeting that we have had since February has revolved around this budget.
Eastern has had dozens of layoffs, and intercollegiate athletics have been cut as well. Witt is concerned student government is next.
Programs that we want to have, we can't do that. And like student government especially, we don't charge students for our events. It's just like free to the public because we're there for the students. So it's really hard on us to have those programs and those events for students to participate in and like come and support schools, like show school spirit and support EIU whenever we don't have those funds to have those programs.
Stephen Simpson is the Vice President of Academic Affairs. He also believes without a state budget, students will not continue to go to school because they do not have the money to pay.
Students weren't receiving that. That's a motivation to some students, like being able to have some of their college paid off, because that's one of the most stressful things, trying to figure out how to pay off college. Of course, the studying and everything is incorporated into that, but not knowing how you're going to pay for this education is probably the top priority for most students.
University of Illinois has great alumni networks and healthy foundations with continuing steady enrollment, which is why they have not seen big budget cuts like other schools. But without a budget in the future, they are preparing for what is to come.
MAP grants were promised to students, and they went to school with that promise. They enrolled with that promise that they would be receiving those MAP grants, and to put that in question or to ultimately not give those grants to the students is just a really bad situation.
But the problem is, when you have a budget that is so important to so many people's lives, you can't play politics and just hope that your ideas get pushed forward and put, millions of other people who live in this state at risk. Their futures are just as important, if not more important, than the ideology of a governor. So just lawmakers have to put that behind them and start working together to put.
MAP grants pay for a fourth of students' tuition, and students throughout the state are depending on the grants to be able to afford school.
The university just announced that they will credit $13 million to our to cover the students' MAP grants for the spring, but there was a precursor that that we may have to pay it back if the state doesn't pass the budget in time.
So the MAP grant is really important to me just because I wouldn't be able to be a student at Eastern. I wouldn't be able to have the leadership opportunities I've had or just get the education that I'm getting right now.
To be able to have that safety net and not have to worry so much picking up a fourth or fifth job and having my grades not be so good because I have to pay for it.
After speaking to the students, I asked them, now, if you had the chance to speak to Governor Bruce Rauner and legislators, what would you say? And they all agreed on the topic of higher education.
It's important to point out that it's just unprecedented what we're seeing. Never before has Illinois gone this far into a fiscal year without funding higher education. And
we need to know something as a school, a public university. It's almost January and we don't know where we are yet. So
students are going to pay attention to this issue. They're not going to sit idly by and just watch their MAP grants get cut, since typically students aren't paying attention. They aren't zoned in on a lot of key legislative issues, but MAP grants have caught their attention.
I feel like every single year they take more and more away from public universities, and we can't run on our own. We have to have the states the state backing us up.
Well, I'd say, Governor, there are 40,000 students here, and each one of them has a future that's based on this university. If you're going to pull our funding, you're pulling away our future. You got to stop, using our education as a bargaining chip to get what you want. Put that aside, put aside those games that you're playing, and deal with the actual issue at hand, which is getting the students the funding that they need to go to college.